is the entire universe's command. For about 20 years, I've been teaching this stuff, metaphysics, and it has been quite the haul. I can tell you that today it's a lot of fun, but 20 years ago, not even, was the dark night of my soul. I was almost 40, which is traumatic enough. 39 years old, liquidating my entrepreneurial endeavor that had lasted 10 years. Found out my girlfriend had a boyfriend that wasn't me. Had no idea what I would do to put ends together to make the payments on a very large mortgage. I had a little nest egg that was way smaller than my life's, my indebtedness at that time. And I remember lamenting, how did this happen to me? Of all people, because I had a pretty high benchmark, a pretty high feeling about who I was and all that I was capable of doing. And I was proud. I was a really proud guy. But all of a sudden, it was like all of that had been ripped from me. I couldn't eat. I was so sick and heartbroken. And I remember, I wouldn't have admitted this 19 years ago, but I remember, having been raised a Catholic, I'm not of any persuasion today, calling back to something that used to give me great comfort. Praying at the side of my bed before sleep on my knees. And I remember those conversations so well. Dear God, it's the universe when I'm happy. You know, I write the notes from the universe, but when I'm petrified, scared for my life, it's always, dear God, I have no idea how I created the mess that I'm in. But I know what I want. I want to have enough wealth and abundance so I don't worry about losing my home. I want to have creative, fulfilling work, but I have no idea of what that could be. I had already done the certified public accountant route for 6 years with Price Waterhouse, entrepreneur selling t-shirts for 10 years with my mother and brother. Suddenly I'm at the end of my rope, and what else is there? If you've done the corporate world and you've done the entrepreneurial world and you don't want to go back. I was at the end of my rope. I remember saying, dear God, I want to be surrounded by friends and laughter forevermore. And dear God, I'd like to start traveling internationally again, which is perhaps the most indulgent of all of those other items, which were mostly to survive. And I remember being angry, not at God, but angry that I'm at this point in my life, almost 40 years old, and I don't know what comes next. And they talk about looking for a light at the end of your tunnel. I didn't have a tunnel. This was the most harrowing, terrifying time of my life. Looking back, I can hardly believe that I'm telling you about where I was. It was so fleetingly brief. Although at the time it seemed like forever, like when is my life going to take off? I used to lament to my mother. But within a year, I had perhaps the best-selling self-improvement audio program on the World Wide Web, which was a fraction of what it is today, the World Wide Web. But hey, I was doing something. Within a year of having the best-selling audio program on the World Wide Web, I was sending out notes from the universe and on my first world tour. I mean real world tour, Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii, Canada, Europe, all over North America. Within a year of that, I was invited to be in The Secret, the DVD, and of course the book by Rhonda Byrne. Within a year of that, I had a New York Times bestseller. And every single year since then, I literally pinch myself and I wonder, what role did I play with my mere mortal flailings, filled with self-doubt, zero clarity, Zippo in terms of confidence, that I was able to parlay from such a dark place the life of my wildest dreams. And that old girlfriend, I got away with my life, I like to think. I got married when I turned 50. And I became a late blooming first-time dad at 53. Just turned 58. What did I ever do to deserve so much? I know I wasn't a goody two-shoes. I know I wasn't intelligent. I know I didn't work harder than other people. I learned how to leverage the universe and engage life's magic. And in all honesty, it was easy. And so in this installment, this first of 3 one-hour webinars with you, titled Your Wish is the Universe's Command, I'm going to share exactly what I did, how I viewed why I did it, to get the results that I got, results that absolutely anybody else can get. Now, I got a lot to share with you in this hour, so there will not be questions and answers in this hour, but in 2 days, I'm going to go even deeper into exactly what I did. Stuff that I teach in the notes, stuff that I've taught on world tours, drawing heavily from my best-selling book, Playing the Matrix. I'm going to take these nuggets that I have been teaching for 20 years, not only give you the overview today, but drill down so that you have maximum leverage from my learning curve on Thursday. And with the benefit of having taught people for almost 20 years about exactly doing what I'm now doing, I know where people tend to not believe in themselves. I know where people tend to give their powers away. I know where people have these question marks in the tapestry of their understanding through which they lose all traction. So I'm going to head you off at the pass. I'm going to tell you what these hazard areas are, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to avoid them. It is that easy. Fellow adventurers, just look at the people who have succeeded the way you now dream of succeeding, in the areas of your life you now dream of succeeding in, and ask yourself if they're any smarter than you. Ask yourself if they're any more popular than you. Ask yourself if they have anything on you. Nothing. Nothing. It's not about how good you've been. It's not about how selfless you've been. I don't believe in living a selfless life. You didn't come here to live for the needs of others. You came here to follow the beat of your own drummer, and that's how you will most help other people in your life. So today's chapter, today's webinar is The Art of Performing Miracles, at the end of which I'm going to wrap it up, tell you a little bit more about Thursday's seminar, and I'm going to give you a really cool take-home exercise so that you can see you're already a miracle worker. I'm not going to teach you anything you don't already know, but I'm going to share with you stuff that will bring about ahas and epiphanies, and you're going to be like, oh, of course, which is what I've been doing, pinching myself for 20 years right now. It's like, oh, it's there for all of us. It's supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be fun. I'm supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to have enough money, health, and live pain-free, surrounded by friends, as I can imagine. And you're going to raise the bar on what you can imagine after today. Thursday night, in that webinar, I'm going to give you 15 minutes of Q&A. So if a question comes to mind in this chapter, jot it down if you're one of the people watching these live, and bring it to the next webinar in 2 days. That will be February 14th. Today is February 12th. Same time, same place, 12 noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Next week, next Thursday, I'll also give you a super cool worksheet so that you can immediately apply this stuff and see how fun it is as you build a map, a treasure map, a road map for the best of your life. And then in the third installment of this webinar, that's going to be a week from today, Tuesday, same time. And that's going to be where I take theory to the streets like I have never done in my life. I've been doing this long enough. I know what works and I know what doesn't work when it comes to cash, and there's nothing unspiritual about amassing a financial fortune. I'm going to tell you how to work this approach, not only with cash, but with career, creative, fulfilling work. I'm going to tell you how to do it with health so that you can live pain-free if that's something you're struggling right now. Mental health as well, so you can get rid of the anxiety attacks. I wish I didn't know about those, but I do. I'm going to tell you how to work this magic on relationships, finding new ones, fostering older ones, making the best of your connections with people. And I'm going to help you apply metaphysical principles to losing weight and looking great. All of which is so that you can live the most happy life possible. And I'm going to specifically talk about happiness as a dream, more happiness, because we can all stand to be even more happy. So the third of the 3 webinars, I will drill down to the 6 most delicious, exciting, promising areas, specific areas of your life, telling you how to define end results, telling you how to take concrete baby steps, telling you how to get into the details without attaching in this webinar titled, Your Wish is the Universe's Command. Okay, let's get started. All right, when it comes to teaching the art of performing miracles, I've been at this juncture with many audiences before, and I always think to myself, and I'm doing it right now, what better place to talk about the miraculous mechanics of manifestation than with the very first manifestation in these sacred, hallowed jungles of time and space. Time and space themselves. Let's talk about the physical universe, planet Earth, and you and I, so that we get a handle on understanding the concept of miracles. Because just for the fact that they're mysterious doesn't mean they need to be difficult or that children can't perform them. We can. And while it's long been said that it's not magic to the magician, you're going to be saying that about miracles in 45 minutes. All right, so when it comes to the very first manifestation ever, if we can get a handle on that one, oh my gosh, everything else is easy. I remember I used to wonder to myself, even thinking it wasn't answerable, the following question. How did it all begin? I mean, the vastness of the physical cosmos, the beauty, the serendipitous, symbiotic relationships. It's just, did you know there's 10 sextillion stars? Not including planets? 10 sextillion. That's over 100 billion stars. In fact, there's 100 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy alone. There's 10 sextillion stars in the entire physical universe. And the scientists just came out the other day and said they think that they've underestimated the size of the physical universe by a factor of 10. So 10 times 10 sextillion, what is that? Yet it exists. And yet on this planet, this emerald jewel floating through space, where there are over 10 million species of the most diverse colors, characteristics. I mean, how did it all begin? My mind would fry. It would be like running into a wall. Like, I can't go there. It's impossible. And I think some things can't be figured out by the mind. But wait till you see where this takes us. I remember I was with my dogs, kicking pine cones around my backyard when I used to work at home, and asking this question. And suddenly, as if I was hit by lightning, I got the answer. And it was so not what I expected, which is so often the case. What do you expect the answer might be? I don't know. For me, I'm kind of thinking that the universe had to start small. Divine intelligence had to start small. I'm kind of thinking maybe there was a couple of planets, for practice. I'm kind of thinking it was probably a few trial runs before God decided there better be gravity because people are floating everywhere. And if you're going to have gravity, you need physics. And if you have physics, you need quantum physics. And if you have people, you need biology and chemistry and the math. Oh God, I almost forgot math. I think as we do on a linear timeline, which you and I both know is illusionary. Einstein said that. It's proven science. It's not what we thought it was, right? Time, space, and matter are very persistent illusions, Einstein said. So all of a sudden, we've got this dynamic where we're trying to explain the cosmos and miracles from a linear timeline, thinking, got to start small, practice makes perfect, trial and error. Okay, I think I'm ready for the whole shebang. 10 sextillion stars, bring it on. That whole thing is fatally flawed, but we don't see that because we're wired to a timeline. That's okay. You can still bring down to your reality, as we're about to do, some shocking ideas as to how to perform miracles. So I'm hit by lightning. I run into the house. Dogs are still in the backyard to write down what has become perhaps my all-time favorite note from the universe. Now, I've written 3,000 plus in 19 years. They used to be messages from Mike, which were never very popular. But when I switched it to Notes from the Universe, same stuff, different guy, it makes sense. You know, the universe is like, you know, there for you. Mike, who's Mike? But it's the universe telling you you're great, being pushed on to greatness. Your positive thoughts are more powerful than your negative thoughts. It's like, that's what I'm talking about. So I ran into the house, and I want to read from my monitor exactly that note from the universe that has become one of my all-time favorites. That captures the essence of all miracles. Ain't it grand? Doesn't it boggle your mind? The harmony, the splendor, the beauty, the intricacies, the synchronicities, and the staggering perfection. Do you ever wonder how it all came about? I mean, all. 10 sextillion stars, 100 billion in the Milky Way alone, 10 million species on this one planet. Do you ever wonder how it all came about? And then, as I do with my notes from the universe, I deliberately took readers down the wrong path, just to kind of illustrate, yeah, that's what we do, and that's not where you're going to find enlightenment and truth. But by pondering questions like this, you become a magnet to their answers. Not just how did the universe begin, not just how do we perform miracles, but why do I go in loops with relationships? How come a financial abundance has been elusive? What am I best suited at so that I can have a rocking time at work and call it play? Okay, ask the questions even when you don't think you know what the answer is, and you will be hit by lightning eventually. So here's where I take readers down the wrong path. To answer that question, did you ever think about how it all came about? Do you think I studied quarks, atoms, and molecules? That I drew schematics for the sun, the moon, and the stars? The otter, the Gila monster, and the penguin? Do you think I painted, this is the universe talking, do you think I painted every zebra, flower, and butterfly? That's where I was looking for answers. I looked at the physical world and said, oh, how did this begin? Maybe there were little butterflies that got bigger. Maybe they were all black and white, then they got colorful. This is how we think on a linear timeline. No. Or do you think I simply imagined the end result? And that's all you ever have to do. Yeehaw, the universe. P.S. I hated school. Okay, so that line, or do you think I simply imagined the end result? That line contains the greatest secret of all secrets that has ever existed, pertaining to the miracles that created these hallowed jungles of time and space, and that pertain to every circumstance, best friend or otherwise, in our lives. The end in mind is the starting point. It is the end, not the house. We don't figure out the house. You don't have to figure out the house when there's not a linear timeline. You think of the end result, the wealth, the abundance, the friends, the laughter, international travel, running the 4-minute mile. Muhammad Ali, I am the greatest. That was his end result. What is your end result? What would you like your end results to be? Know that, and you've struck on step one of performing miracles. There's nothing too impressive about performing miracles when you get this stuff. Step one is knowing what you really want. Like Richard Branson, one of the most admired men in the whole world. Lady Gaga, one of the most admired females in the entire world. They are who they are, and they're known in every household, probably on every country on planet Earth, because of their end results, because of their dreams. They aren't known because they manipulated the physical world around them, and then they slowly took steps and they totally built up this life. Yes, taking action was imperative, but a lot of people take action that don't achieve what they achieved. What was different about Richard Branson, sir, and Lady Gaga? They dreamed so big. They had the audacity, the intelligence, or the naivety to hold on to that thought. And holding on to that thought rearranged, metaphorically, the stars of their life. And when they showed up in the world down simple pathways, knocking on doors, turning over stones, asking for help, because of the magic their end results ordained. By the time they went out on the road, the right people at the right time with the right courage and the right ideas showed up to help them have a full picture here and to lead the life that makes them a household name. Athletes are known for creative visualization. What are they visualizing but end results? The end forces the details. The end forces the math. Just as the universe, God defined the vastness, the beauty, the serendipitous relationships, symbiotic relationships, a stage for her, God, to live out adventures in these sacred illusionary jungles. That end result forced the math, forced the gravity, forced the biology, forced the chemistry. The end forces the details. The end result, your thoughts of the end, force the circumstances that you will meet as you show up in the world with baby steps. You got to do both. Hold on to the end, not the house. Ooh, not the house. Do not worry about how your dream's going to come true. That's like the fast track to heartbreak. Do not worry. Do not define. Do not even think of how your dream's going to come true. Just think of the end. The end is the beginning. The end forces the logistics, the right time, the right place, the right best friend, the right courage, the creativity, everything you need to have everything you are thinking of will be drawn to you like a magnet, so that as you show up in life physically taking action, thy will shall be done. Okay? So that's why athletes do it. Their end result, I am the greatest, said Muhammad Ali. That was his declaration into words. And if you're saying that, the universe is listening. I heard you the first 7,200 times, Muhammad. Yeah, we're on it. You got it. No one else is saying that. You're the only one saying that. Then it was up to him to kind of go through the motions of practice, to go through the tournaments and get the coaches and do those basic things that we all must do if we want to create change. We're the moving part. But you don't have to do the heavy lifting. Divine intelligence does it for you, programmed by your visions. Our brain is not designed to figure out the logistics of going from A to B, particularly when most of our life's journeys from A to B involve other people, maybe even 7.5 billion of them, involve details, involve hows, involve timelines. Maybe they involve currencies rising and flowing. Maybe they involve economies rising and flowing. Maybe they are dependent upon certain breakthroughs on the internet to have certain thoughts come to pass. Divine intelligence has got that down. It's writing every probability. It knows of every if, and, or maybe. Divine intelligence is doing it. Your brain's too tiny. It was not designed for that. Your brain was designed to assess and judge categories in your life. Do you like this? Great. More of it. Do you like that? Oh, no? You don't like that? Change the picture. That's it. Don't figure out how to change it. Change the picture. I don't like my relationships. I don't like the pain in my back. I don't like whatever's that I'm broke. Now change it. Have a picture where you're abundant. It seems futile. It seems laughable until you're living the life of your dreams as I'm living the life of my dreams. And then there's nothing funny about it. I promise you. You will pinch yourself. I sometimes have bruises. I cry happy tears. It's there for you. I'm not more gifted. I'm not more blessed. I don't know how I know what I know, but I know that I know it, and my life is a proof of it. And I'm going to show you in short order how you are proof of these things that I'm talking about as well. So athletes do it. Here's another example. J.K. Rowling, author of Harry Potter. It's not just the physical world and mathematics and sciences that are rearranged when you have an end result. Her end result of others must have been something along the lines of, I love writing. I love telling stories. I'm a world-class storyteller. I'm a world-class novelist. I come up with the best ideas. People love my work, or people will love my work. Those end results of I can do it, if it's brilliantly inspired or naively inspired. And look at some of the knuckleheads. I love everybody, but look at some of the knuckleheads that amass millions or billions of dollars. You don't have to be the sharpest tool in the shed. Not to write books, not to make money, not to fall in love, not to travel internationally first class on a sleeper seat. It's easy when you know what buttons to press and what levers to pull. So for J.K. Rowling, not only does that end result attract to her the right publisher, readers, possibilities, etc., But the only way she can live those end results that I just speculated on is if she writes well, is if she has spellbinding characters, as if there are plots worthy of global consideration. So she is thereby infused with creativity, given a plot line, given storylines, given the mosaic that could turn into umpteen books, all downloaded to her because of her end results. Creativity, courage, whatever you need intangibly as well as tangibly for thy will to be done will be delivered to you if you hold on to the end result, no matter what's going on around you, and you show up, show up, show up. Topics we'll be talking about today and on Thursday and next Tuesday in this webinar video series, which is the universe's command. Look at it like this, because I want you to see the examples. And I've met from people from all these walks of lives who have all told me that this approach that I stumbled upon, that I will be making more and more clear to you in this event and Thursday's event and next week's event, was the missing link. It was the simple little aha. End results wisely defined. Details to get excited, emotionally passionate about that you visualize. And then showing up with baby steps down practically any old path. But let me go back to this example of that I've heard from entrepreneurs. Every office has a sales team, right? You know, every business generally has a sales team, in-house, out-house, whatever. And every sales team has the home run hitter. You ever wonder why? Given that they're not the best looking, generally, they're not the most popular, they're certainly not, you know, Ivy League educated for the most part. Why would the same person every single month or every single year hit home runs in the sales department? Their end results. They either think, let me show you how crafty the universe is, divine intelligence is. They either think of themselves as a rocking salesperson. I could sell ashes to the devil. I could sell rice to China. They either think of that directly, or there's a lot of workarounds where you can think indirectly. Maybe they think of themselves living in wealth and abundance. Maybe they think of themselves living with opulence and a lot of cash and buying power and international travel. And the universe long ago said, you keep thinking of this and giving your skill set, you're really good with people. You really are good with persuasion. You really ought to be in sales. And boom, the next thing you know, they find themselves in sales. And the next thing you know, they're not following orders. They're eating a Big Mac at 2 p.m. in the afternoon when they should be diligently researching prospects. And the phone rings, it's Hong Kong, and it makes their year again. The whole party, the whole office celebrates. This person is celebrated. Why? Their end results. Yes, take action, and we'll talk about that. Calculated action, inspired action, but as I'm going to share with you, the road you start out on is never the road you arrive on. So just start out on any road. There's so much leeway and wiggle room. The universe will get you on the right path once you get started. All of this is coming up today and on Thursday and on next, the third installment of this webinar. So, and it's not just money. It's not just fame. Think of wherever you live right now. There are happy school teachers, bankers, tellers, clerks, librarians. What gives? Why are they so happy? Why they don't have a lot of money, but it's not their priority. What is their priority? They think along the lines of thoughts that serve them. They have end results focused on what they like and love about life. They like people, they love children, they like money, they like counting, they like whatever. And the universe is like, oh, we can do that. Whatever you need to have whatever you want will be delivered to you on a silver platter with your other interests, your gifts, your leanings, your curiosities, your strengths, all factored in when you have end results that require them, okay? And you just show up, show up, show up. So that's how end results forced Big Bang. I tell audiences that, you know, the universe imagined the vastness, the beauty, the symbiotic relationships, a realm in illusions where divine intelligence could live lives like yours and mine. And that forced the details In an instant, big bang. All the math, all the sciences came together. Now we have a continuum with momentum. So you and I are not likely to be doing any spontaneous manifestations in the near future, but something even more miraculous happens. We hold on to wealth and abundance or gold coins. Gold coins, good example. They don't appear in our hand, no matter how long you think about gold coins if you're just sitting there. But take action, show up, move towards gold coins, and somebody's going to put them in your palm, either as a gift, as an inheritance, as a purchase, as whatever, working with where you are and all you've got and the availability of gold coins or great wealth and abundance. It shall be done. Your thoughts will rearrange through the law of attraction instead of spontaneous manifestation, that which you desired, and always more. So now that we've talked about Big Bang and how these illusions came to be and how you can bring anything you wish to pass by having wisely chosen end results, I want to share with you 3 concepts that have helped me understand miracles and how to perform them more than any other concepts. These are like the Holy Grail. And I often do think that the long searched for Holy Grail is concepts, not a chalice, okay? But that's a side note. All right, so I've been teaching my digital GPS analogy since before people even knew what I was talking about. Basically, now you know what digital GPS navigation is in your car, on your smartphone, or whatever. The mechanics of how that works in parallel to the mechanics of all deliberate manifestations are freaky wild. What's the first thing of 2 things that you have to do in a GPS guided car to arrive at a brand new destination, a place you've never been to before? And now see the parallel here. I'm drawing the comparison of digital GPS navigation to a place you've never been before, with you living the life you've never lived before. So grand, so large, so in charge, so much love, so many friends, so much of whatever your heart desires. That's a place you've never been before, right? No problem. You don't have to have been there. Divine intelligence knows where that place is, just like digital GPS knows your end result. Step 1 of a successful manifestation to a place you've never been to before through driving a digitally GPS guided car is telling the system where you want to go. You do not tell the system where you are. It knows where you are through digital GPS satellite signals. You don't tell divine intelligence where you are. It's you. It knows where you are. You don't say, I'm Mike Dooley in Orlando today. It's like, give me a break. Where do you want to go? What's going on? So you begin with the end result. You do not tell the system how you're going to get there. Those are the cursed hows. Never mess with the cursed hows. Worrying about or wondering about, how will my dream come true? How will I get to? Don't do that, because you derail the system, as I will make clear shortly. But you do tell the system the destination. What's another word for destination? End result. Exactly like in the miraculous mechanics of manifestation for how we perform miracles. What's important at the outset of a brand new journey is you clearly defining the end result. And in your car, when you do that, every road, every how, every yield, merge, stop sign, speed limit, detour, traffic congestion is taken into account. And in a heartbeat, the shortest, quickest, happiest way for you to get there is known. But it's not told. That system remains silent. The car has been wired and programmed by geniuses in Detroit and Stuttgart and Japan and Korea to not help you until you put your car in gear, right? Because if your car's in park and you're saying, I want to go, to New York City, but your car's in park, massive contradiction. If you're telling divine intelligence, I want to live in wealth and abundance and find my soulmate travel partner, and I'm just going to sit here on the couch visualizing, you will never live in wealth and abundance, nor find your travel partner. You must put the car in gear. The instant you put your car in gear, resources and guidance are forthcoming. The car starts speaking, continue forward for another 2 miles, then take a left-hand turn on A1A and blah, blah, blah. Suddenly, the whole system is in motion because you've done the only 2 things you really have to do: destination, car in gear, and roll. Most people don't put their life in gear because they don't know how to get there. Totally forgetting that that's not what the brain is for. Those logistics are impossible when it comes to weaving an amazing life. You can't know trends and highs and lows and 7.5 billion other co-creators and their whereabouts on 3 days or 3 weeks or 3 years from now. But divine intelligence is tracking that. So if you know the end result and you start showing up with baby steps, it doesn't matter what road you go down. Just like in your car. Okay, you could go south on A1A, even though it was telling you to go north. Probably because you were listening to Mandy by Barry Manilow way too loud and you didn't hear the directions. So now you're going south on A1A. Doesn't matter. There's no such thing as a wrong direction. If you want to go to New York City in this analogy, instantly guidance is forthcoming. Make a legal U-turn. Guidance that is not forthcoming if your car's not in gear, right? And in life, you will receive guidance if you're doing something about your dream. If you're not physically taking action on your dream on a very regular basis until it comes true, it can't come true. And it doesn't have to be the right step in the right direction at the right time, but you must take action. If you put in the end result and you just sit in your car listening to Barry, you got a vision board in the back seat, gratitude rock in your pocket, that thing will rust to nothing before you get where you want to go. It's not enough to know about truth, metaphysics, and how much you're loved and adored to change your life. You must live what you know. And the most amazing news when it comes to performing miracles, you don't have to go out and do supernatural stuff. You're already supernatural. Just hold on to the vision, even though nothing is changing. That's the way it is at first. And then do something, and now you're reachable. You know, I like to point out, as a note from the universe once did, if you're sitting in a dark room and you decide you'd like to walk out into the sun, your first few steps must be in the dark. Which is no reason to think it's not working for me. It's working for you, but we don't have spontaneous manifestations, which means not only must you take action, even though you don't know how your dream's going to come true. Doesn't matter, do anything. The road you start on will not be the road you arrive on. So just start on any dang road, okay? But not only will you not know which way to go, but it'll seem futile, insufficient, self-doubt. Take these steps anyway, and then you become a lightning rod for magic and miracles ordained by the vision that was held, even though in the first few steps it seemed like nothing's changing. Nothing is changing. This is not working. It works for all my friends but me. I must have invisible, limiting, self-sabotaging beliefs. That's not the problem, which is a tangent issue here. Just because you might want something that you don't have, or maybe you've wanted something for a really long time that you still don't have. Maybe you've wanted it for a lifetime and you still don't have it. Do not draw the bogus, false conclusion that there's something wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong with you until you say there's something wrong with me. And it might be an invisible limiting belief, but it might be priorities. It might be that you are patching up relationships. It might be some of the other 400 things you really care about were a higher priority. The universe is tracking this other thing that hasn't shown up yet, and it's going to show up in about a month. But now, as soon as you say, it must be something wrong with me, the universe is like, I heard that. And you will find stuff wrong with you. Okay. The person who says, I can't lose weight is always right. The universe is like, I heard you the first 7,216 times. Don't worry. You're going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, eating the wrong food with a slow metabolism and no willpower. Gotcha. Roger. On it. Your end results are your words. Choose your words wisely. Choose your visions wisely. And don't be ruffled that things don't change spontaneously, because I guarantee you they won't. So that means you do your thing, even though it doesn't seem like it's working. And you keep doing your thing. Here's another parallel that is freaky uncanny when it comes to comparing the miraculous mechanics of manifestation to digital GPS navigation. Let's say you've met somebody who lives 3 hours from your home, coincidentally, while you were bowling at midnight bowling not long ago. They live 3 hours from your home in a town you've never been to before, but you're finding it not very daunting because you can't wait to see this person again. And next Saturday, they invite you to their home 3 hours from your home. And so you're using digital GPS navigation to get to this rendezvous. At what point in the 3 hour journey would you realize that every left and right hand turn you were told to take and that you subsequently took was perfect, spot on, a miracle? When would you realize the system did not fail you? Only in the final seconds, which is kind of terrifying when you consider how much we over rely on our physical senses to pass judgment on ourselves and our journeys and the progress we're making or seemingly not making. Can you imagine 2 hours and 59 minutes into this journey where there was going to be hot chocolate and marshmallows? Can you imagine 2 hours and 59 minutes into that journey, you looking out the windshield, looking out the windows, like, this is not my friend, and this is not what they said their house would look like, and I don't think this is working, and it works for everybody else but me. I think I must have invisible, limiting, self-sabotaging beliefs. I think I'm going to go home and watch The Secret for 30 more days in a row. The travesty of this, the heartbreaking travesty of this, it happens every day. People whose dreams were coming true, who suddenly at the last minute drew the bogus false conclusion, interpreting their surroundings with their physical senses alone. Your physical senses cannot see miracles. They're not designed to see miracles. They're designed to pass judgment on the things in your life. You like it, you like it, you don't, create a new picture. That's what your physical senses do. They're not meant to assess the journey nor see the miracles. So 2 hours and 59 minutes into the journey, you were right there, but now you're driving home. Now you hate yourself. Now you're saying you have invisible limiting beliefs. And so now you do have invisible limiting beliefs that you're not good enough, that you're not up to it, that you can't do this stuff. All baloney. Let your modus operandi be forevermore. It's working. It never fails. It always works. Every day I'm getting closer. Every day it's getting easier. And that's it. While you continue to hold on to the vision and take action, show up, take action, knock on doors, turn over stones, do what you can with what you've got from where you are. That has helped me more than anything, not only teaching how to perform miracles, but performing them myself. Hold on to the end result. That's what ordains the logistics, the coincidences, so-called, the happy accidents and serendipities that you will meet as your car stays in gear, even though it doesn't seem like you're getting closer, so that your mind can be blown. Just because you can't see the miracles does not ever mean they're not happening. They are. You can't even turn that stuff off. You're a nonstop manifesting machine. You stream reality into place based on your focus, by your words, by your beliefs, by your baby steps. You streaming me into place right now. You are ready to hear this. Now you're hearing this. Now you're loaded up. The miracles never cease. Well, there's no big deal about them. You know, you think, you move, and miracles happening. You think, you move, and miracles happen. You want to get up and walk across the room. Do you know how many muscles that you're miraculously orchestrating and you never even thought about it? Right now, you're replacing toe cells with new toe cells that are expiring. Right now, you've beaten your heart probably 2,000 to 3,000 times since I started talking. You're a miracle nonstop worker. You are an amazing divine being. You just didn't know it. You took it for granted. Like most audience members at a magic show take so much for granted. You performing miracles your whole life and you take it for granted. Oh, that wasn't me. Oh, that was my involuntary system. Oh, I just got lucky. Oh, I just worked hard. None of those were the reasons. None of those were the reasons. You had a vision. You moved with it. Your mind was blown. Or whatever. but it was because of the vision. So that was one thing that has totally rocked my world with performing miracles. And the other thing, and this is a deep concept, I really think the number one thing I can ever do to empower people is to teach them truth. And I do believe that truth is absolute. And I rile at the notion that everyone has their own truth. Totally bull crap. Okay? There goes all of your power. Everyone has their own way to truth. And every path should be honored. But to think that there's different truths for different people, what, are you kidding me? There's not. Thoughts become things. That's it. Okay? You are a divine creator. That's it. You are caked in miracles and loved and adored no matter what you do or don't do with your life. That's it. The simple absolutes of life are few and far between. And it's important that you get that. And then when you get that, you ask the question, what are the absolutes? And there's only one absolute that matters. Thoughts become things. That's the only absolute when it comes to the pillars of this reality that has a moving part. It tells you where you fit into the equation of reality creation. Now, you have to take action, but your actions are your thoughts in motion. We're going to cover all of that. But I couldn't do you a greater service than to impart as much truth, empowering truth as possible. And one of the things that has empowered me, like nothing else, that I call back and summon all the time, I mean all the time, in my present life right now, is the realization, I mean, this is drum roll, this is, I'm being possessed right now by divine intelligence to share this with you. I just feel like something so valuable. This is what I'm about to share. Okay, so let me share it. Just because you rightly know that you live in a non-judgmental world where divine intelligence is not passing judgment on you, not giving you tests, not deciding what's going to happen in your life, but overall, most importantly for this little nugget, you are not being judged by the divine. Okay, I think you get that. If you found me and you're watching this video, you kind of always suspected it, that God is good, that everyone's doing their best, that we're all aspects of God, we're all God particles, and some of us make some big mistakes based on confusion, which is why truth is so important. But at the basis of all things, God is not judging you. Everyone who's gone to the light with a near-death experience and came back, I mean, and none of them were saints, says the same thing. They were bathed in love. They were understood. It was okay. They didn't want to come back here. Well, we're all back here because at a deeper level, we want to be here. And we're all going back there, which is where we came from. So no arguments that way. Let's take from this insight that all people who've been there and back say, is that there's just like only love and that they've not been judged. Okay, so the first time you ever heard that, you probably like, I knew it. I knew that God wasn't angry. I know that this is not about being tested, judged, and sent. I knew it. And then, if you're like me, you started thinking, man, there's no judgment. It's like good, bad, whatever. Oh my God, thoughts become things. You better watch your thoughts, Mike Dooley. Oh my God, I had a worry thought. Oh my God, I'm thinking negatively. Oh my God, I think I'm going to get fired at Price Waterhouse. Oh my God, I think my company's going to go bankrupt. Oh my God, we're going to run out of cash. Oh my God, I'm doomed because I'm thinking these thoughts that will become things. And there's no judgment on the other side. Tinkerbell isn't going to come save me. I have to realize I'm a creator. I'm doomed because of this non-judgmental world I live in. It almost feels like God doesn't give a flying yahoo what happens to you. He's just going to love you anyway. Just going to love you. You can fall down and break your heart and smash your head in a million pieces. That's okay. God's going to love you. Hey, I want more than that from my God. But it doesn't feel like that's the case when there's non-judgment, right? Totally wrong, off the tracks. Just because we live in a non-judgmental world does not mean we live in a neutral world. Please let that sink deep into your core. You live in a world that adores you, that yearns for you, a God, part of your higher self who wants for you what you want for yourself. You've heard these cliches before, that the universe wants for you what you want for yourself, that the universe is conspiring on your behalf. So, wait a minute, I thought it was non-judgmental. It is non-judgmental, but it's conspiring on your behalf because it's you. It's you. You are, I am God, come alive in the dream of life. And we came here as ancient gladiators of love and joy, cascading and careening through the physical and non-physical cosmos. And we had this idea, because somebody was talking about it or whatever, about planet Earth. Totally spectacular, will blow your mind. Thoughts become things, your words give you wings. Let's go, let's go, let's give it a try. And suddenly you're here, this magnificent eternal tidal wave. Do you know the truth that brought you here? Do you know the magnificence that brought you here? Do you know that it was God Almighty, your higher self, that brought you here? And that you came here by choice because you could, for the adventure of it, because you knew that whatever happened and didn't happen would add to who you are? That you could find friends, fall in love, and be loved every single day of your life? You came here to discover that your thoughts become things, amongst other things. You came here to learn patience and empathy. You came here to be of service and to serve. You came here for all of these awesome reasons, but you came here as God. And so when you think, I'm pretty hot, I'm awesome, I love myself, it's like, of course. You're the eyes and the ears of God. You're majestic. You're beautiful. You're everywhere. You're always at once. You created this bastion of order and perfection in the cosmos. When you think to yourself, I'm a dodo. It's not going to work for me. It works for everyone else. I can't do it. I'm stupid. I hate myself. Those will always be the lies. Those are the lies. And therefore, because they don't go in alignment with the truth of your nature, those thoughts are harder to become things than other thoughts. If you think, I'll probably be a millionaire really soon, I'll probably be surrounded by more friends, that pain in my back is probably going to go away all on its own because my body knows how to heal itself. I'm probably going to have clarity like I've never known. I'm probably about to begin the absolute best of my life tomorrow. It's like, yeah, why the hell not? Given who you really are and who you know and you can deduce you are. Because when you get this, you realize you're not living in a neutral universe that's 50-50, positive thought, negative thoughts, whatever you think is what you're going to get. No, your positive thoughts are at least 10,000 times more powerful than your negative thoughts. Get that. Why? Because they're in alignment with the truth that brought you here. You don't have to have willpower. You don't have to have anything. You just have to know the truth. If you want it, you're going to get it. You always do. You just always do. Now, there's a couple nuances, hence the purpose of this course next Thursday and the following Tuesday. Yeah, it's important to talk about some of these finer nitty-gritties, just as it was important to reveal to you, you don't live in an uncaring, neutral universe. Just because it's non-judgmental doesn't mean it's neutral. This slack means you have license to have pity parties in the night. Let me be the first metaphysical teacher to tell you, you can be negative, and you can have pity parties with your best friends for 2 hours every single night before you fall asleep. Talk about how bad life is and how hard it is and how mean people can be. So long as you do the simple things that I'm touching on today, Thursday and Tuesday, you will blow the lid off of your life because of your nature and inclination to succeed. Mark my words. Okay. Let me move on. The third thing, let me just say, if you worry, you can still succeed. If you self-doubt, you can still succeed. If you don't like yourself for a little while or a long while, you can still succeed. They say it's easier to smile than frown because it uses fewer muscles. It's easier to succeed and have money and clarity and start your own successful business and thrive in every area of life than not, because it uses fewer muscles. You think it, the universe lifts it. Your part's the easy part. The universe does the hard part. You don't have to be Mr. or Mrs. Positive. Too many people in my audience are like, Mike, yeah, I can't be as positive as you. It's like, if you only knew how negative I was. But I still would visualize. I would still work with affirmations. I would still define my end results wisely, as I'm about to teach you to do. And my mind has been blown. I'm often asked by people, Mike, I'm so negative. Mike, I can't stop worrying. There have been crises in my life when I could not stop worrying either. And as I shared, I thought I was doomed. But what I've discovered through every crisis is when I sometimes could not stop the negative fear, I could always start a new train running. The train of negativity and fear, I've learned to say, you just run hard out. You just choo-choo all the way home. I'm going to simultaneously start another thought of positivity. And during that other 5 minutes of visualization a day of positivity, I would worry that I'd get fired or go broke or my girlfriend would cheat on me. But I still would prevail. I would still succeed. I kept the job, lost a girl. I made the money. It all came full circle because I am and you are inclined to succeed. You can still start a new train running, even if you are worrying so much you can't stop it. Start a new one, start thinking positive, and in the big important areas of your life, everything will click. As far as the girl I lost, as I told you, that was just training wheels for the real love of my life. All right, so the other thing I wanted to share with you that's so impactful to me about really getting how I've performed miracles and how therefore anybody can perform miracles is understanding the magic that does not meet the eye that accompanies all action steps. Taking action is so much more than taking action. Old school thinking, which is what you and I have been exposed to our entire lives, tells us the harder you work, the more hours you apply, the better you'll be. The smarter you work, the better off you'll be. And taking action, it's far more valuable because you did something than whatever it is you did. Doing something is more important than whatever it was you did. Just like starting out on the wrong path. I mean, it's not going to be the path you arrive on, but you're never going to arrive if you don't start. So within that realm of taking action, here's some of the lessons I've learned. Number one, start. Everybody teaches this for good reason, but too many people don't feel like they have all the resources they need to give themselves the green light. So they wait for their ducks to line up. But as I share to so many audiences, the mama duck never waits for her babies to line up before she crosses the road. When mama knows what she wants, mama goes, and then all the babies see it and they line up and catch up. The same is true in our lives. Taking action summons the resources you will need to finish the journey. Resources that are mandatory to finish the journey. Resources missing in your life, which is the reason most people don't take action. If you need more financing, if you need more confidence, if you need more creativity, if you need more experience, all of that will come as you take action, as opposed to waiting for those things to just show up in your life. Taking action, getting started, summons the resources you will need to finish the journey. So don't start and say, where are they? Just start and keep going until you arrive. And as you keep going and you try different things and you knock on different doors, everything starts showing up. Another thing I've learned, when you are looking for massive transformation in your life, you will inevitably be in a place of, my life sucks. Otherwise, I wouldn't be wanting massive transformation. Correct? I mean, if you're like good with your career and the money's really nice, you're probably not trying to transform that part of your life. You got a great relationship, but you're probably not trying to transform the part. If you're trying to transform this one area that's, it's because right now you have no idea what to do and it seems like nothing's working in your life, which is where I was 19 years ago, the dark night of my soul. And I remember then thinking, if I wait for the yellow brick road to show up, where I will have confidence, clarity, and skip all the way home, it will never show up. So that led to, okay, that means without the yellow brick road, without the confidence, without the clarity, I'm going to have to choose a sucky road. So here's what you're at. This is your assignment. If you want major transformation because things just aren't working out in a certain area of your life, I want you to assess the sucky options before you, because you need to take action, and this is the take action discussion. Assess those sucky options. Narrow down the least sucky, like maybe the 3 least sucky. Give yourself a deadline and go. And those sucky paths will give you feedback. Some will work out. Some will suck worse than you even realize they might suck. And you're going to be on your way. And because you've ordained magic and miracles with end results, and now you're out in the world, which is all that's required. It doesn't matter that you go on a sucky path. Now you're reachable. Now the right person at the right time, the epiphany, the creativity will transform that sucky path ultimately, not overnight, ultimately into the yellow brick road. Like me starting out, sending free emails and doing e-cards. Suddenly I'm writing notes from the universe to 800,000 people every single day with New York Times bestsellers, world tours. Is like, how did those dots ever get connected? Wasn't me, baby. It was divine intelligence. But I had end results of wealth and abundance, creative, fulfilling work, friends and laughter, international travel. And the universe was like, I know how to do that. So, and in looking back, I can see the little miracles that happened along the way, because while they happened, they were invisible. And this is the other important thing about taking action. I said it already. Just because you can't see the miracles does not mean they're not happening. I remember asking a friend for help as a speaker, get started, when I was getting started 18 years ago. I learned that sometimes knocking on one door forces another one to open that never would have opened had you not knocked on this door. And this door that you knocked on was kind of sucky. You didn't even want to knock on it, but you knew you had to do something. This one you didn't even know existed, and it's super sexy. This door never would have opened had you not knocked on this sucky door. And the sucky door never did open, but this one did because you knocked on that one. When I asked a professional speaker for help, he was of no help launching my speaking career. But he called me 4 days later when this other door opened, and it was like, oh my gosh. He said, Mike, why don't you and I do an audio program? You have 3,000 people in your database. I have 3,000 people. I couldn't believe this guy would invite me. He told me exactly how to do my webpage. He told me all these marketing tips and tricks. Everything. I launched. I sold 5,000 in one night. He sold nothing. He quit. And suddenly I've got infinite possibilities. The Art of Living Your Dreams, my first audio program, my future New York Times bestseller, because I asked this guy to help me speak, and he got me on track with creating a product online. The miracles are invisible, even when they're happening. It's not until way later on that you can look and you're like, oh my God, how did that happen? I almost got fired at Price Waterhouse in my accounting career, I told you. And I remember visualizing in misery in my mom's house, I still lived at home at the time, that I was happy at work, which seemed so preposterous. Within a few weeks, Human Resources called me and said, Mike, you're being relocated temporarily into the tax department because tax season is here and they're overwhelmed. This was like the worst news I could possibly receive. All auditors hate tax, especially bad auditors. The tax department loved me. The audit department said, you keep Dooley. I wanted to stay in the tax department. My career blasted off. When I was being transferred to the tax department, I thought this was like the death knell of my career at Price Waterhouse. It was the beginning of a dream come true, seeded by me visualizing that I'm happy at work, surrounded by friends. That job took me to the Middle East, to London, to New York City, to Boston. An amazing, amazing 6 years that started out on the chopping block because I was the worst auditor unleashed upon humanity ever. So the miracles are invisible. All right, knocking on one door forces another one to open. Choose your least sucky path and get going. Start and the resources will be added. Fellow adventurers, I think you're on board. You get that there's magic. You're sensing how to perform miracles. Do you think it's as easy as that? Let me ask you, you've been on this path for a while. Tell me truthfully, have you not experienced big successes and total misses? And then successes that you later regretted and wished you didn't ask for what you got. You've had successes, you've had misses, and you've had successes that you regret. I told you there's 2 steps to digital GPS navigation, right? Number 1, destination, end result. Number 2, put your car in gear, take action. Haven't there been countless books written on the virtue of inspired action, taking massive action ad infinitum? Okay, book after book after book is about taking action, the hard road, doing the heavy lifting, things that are not even true. But people talk and teach about taking action. How many books do you know that talk about the importance and brilliance of defining your end results wisely so that you can be a lightning rod for magic and miracles? Do you think all end results are the same? Do you think if you want Rocky or Trixie to fall in love with you, it's just a matter of saying, that's my end result, the universe loves me, thoughts become things? What if Rocky or Trixie are more interested in each other than you? Do you think asking for a raise from your boss is the best way to get money, or might there be other ways? Do you think moving towards pain-free living, health and healing, losing weight and looking great, do you think all end results are the same? This is perhaps my biggest takeaway from my best-selling book, Playing the Matrix. This is where I share what I'm scandalized that others don't share. This is where I teach people to stop micromanaging their successes. This is where, and this is what I'm going to share with you in 2 days, this is where I teach people how to take inspired action with a glad heart down any path, but never mess with the cursed house. You ever think about, is that a contradiction? How are you going to take inspired action, as I've been sharing with you, and not mess with the cursed house, as I've also been sharing with you? How are you going to visualize details, but not attach to unimportant ones? Do you even realize that all details are unimportant? That their virtue lies in the fact that they get you excited about big picture changes in your life? All details are unimportant. Attaching to details will link you to specific people behaving specific ways and to cursed house, and your dreams might not come true. People say, are some things impossible? People ask, can all dreams come true? Let me tell you, some things are impossible. Not all dreams can come true. And I know you'll agree with me when I tell you, you can't make Gertrude or Trixie fall in love with you. Just as you are untouchable, so are they. That doesn't mean you can't have mind-boggling love. You can have wealth and abundance. That dream will come true, but you cannot say how it will come to you. You cannot say it'll be this contract, it'll be that client, this employer, that corner office, this book deal. You cannot say that. That does not mean you can't have it. You can't have it. You can have wealth and abundance, creative, fulfilling worth, health and healing, rocking relationships. You can have all that stuff. You can have happiness. But people try to micromanage their way to happiness, abundance, health, healing, and rocking relationships, and that's where they fall down. Let me help you on Thursday night. Avoid the pitfalls that too many people get tripped on. This is a free workshop tonight. It's going to be free Thursday night. It's going to be free next Tuesday night. I told you in Notes from the Universe, I love to do free from time to time. And so let me give you the best I have to offer next week. Let me tell you, don't forget your assignment, seeing your miracles in hindsight. You've been doing this your whole life. This is going to give you confidence in yourself, and you're going to see that you've already been performing miracles. Next week, join me for going deeper into the 3 steps that will help you avoid micromanagement and to help you avoid the pitfalls. Next week, I'll answer your questions. Next week, there'll be another fun assignment. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. Until that time, when we discover what you really want next week, and next week we talk about the Bermuda Triangle of manifesting, I want you to remember that your thoughts become things, and you are adored.